YouTubers, it's your girl Shannon from EV and Chill, and a lot of you guys might remember from our last video, I told you that we were going on a road trip. We were going to go visit some of my family in Rhode Island, and we were doing it in the Tesla Model 3, not the Mustang Mach-E. So a lot of you guys had some questions about that. Some of you even slid into our DMs asking us why that was. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Why are we taking the Tesla Model 3? So let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. But before we jump all the way in, we have to address like the pros of the Mustang, because you guys, it is a really great vehicle. I think by now you know how much I love the Mustang. And honestly, on a road trip, I think I would prefer to take the Mustang because, I mean, if you think about it, it's bigger, so you're gonna have more room to spread out. You're gonna be able to pack more. Ladies, are you feeling me? Also, it's a quieter ride. It's way quieter than the Tesla is. It's just a smooth ride. It's comfortable. On a long road trip, I like to sit up high. There are a lot of pros. Intelligent cruise control, that works really well. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's autopilot good, but it works really well. I really enjoy using it. So the Mustang has a lot of pros. But you guys, when we were weighing Mustang v Tesla, the Tesla won out. And it all boiled down to one reason. Well, kind of two reasons into one reason. And that was charging. Okay, so charging, we need to break this down a little bit further because we need to talk about the charging rate and we need to talk about the charging infrastructure. Okay, so let's talk about the charging rate first. Now you guys know we're going to Rhode Island. That's where my family is. That's where Taylor Swift owns a beach house. Say what? But when we get to my family's house, they don't own EVs. What are they driving, people? So my family obviously doesn't have any level 2 chargers, and if you remember in my last video when we looked on the PlugShare app, there are no level 3 chargers nearby anywhere. Like, we'd have to go to the middle of the state to charge. You guys, that is crazy. That's wasting miles, that's wasting time. I'd say it's wasting gas, but it's not. But it is wasting miles and it's wasting time. So that means we're gonna be relying on a level 1 charger. We're gonna be charging our vehicle off of a 110 volt, just your standard household outlet. So if we were to bring the Mustang and charge it off the 110 volt, we would be getting 2 miles per hour. Per hour, that's crazy. Okay, so that means in a 24-hour period, if we didn't go anywhere, we would get 48 miles. You guys, that's going to like Target and back. That's not gonna get you anywhere. You're gonna have to pre-plan everything. So that would really just like add a whole bunch of more stress onto our trip. That's just not worth it. Now the Tesla, on the other hand, it is still slow on a 110 volt, but it is twice as fast as the Mustang. So with the Tesla, we're charging at 4 miles per hour, and I'm no mathematician, but in a 24-hour period, I think we're looking at 96 miles. So either way, whether we bring the Mustang or the Tesla, anytime we're home, we're gonna be plugged in charging. But you guys, we're literally getting double the miles with the Tesla. That's kind of a no-brainer. So regardless whether we bring the Mustang or the Tesla, we know that anytime we're going to be parked at my family's house, you can bet we're going to be plugged in charging, so we can maximize every single mile. And it's just kind of a no-brainer to bring the Tesla. I mean, it's literally double the charge. So that was a really easy thought right there. But you guys, before we can even talk about charging in Rhode Island, we actually have to get the vehicle to Rhode Island. So now that we've talked about charging speeds at my family's crib, let's go ahead and let's talk about charging speeds off of level 3 chargers, and let's talk about charging infrastructure, because both of those things were factors that came into play when we were deciding which vehicle to take. Okay, now before we talk about charging like speeds, like charging rates, let's remember something really key here. So the Mach-E has the capability of charging at 150 kilowatts. The Tesla, on the other hand, can charge at a max rate of 250 kilowatts. Okay, and let's pause for a hot second, you guys, because that's really interesting. Because Tesla, like, they came out with that capability maybe like 4 years ago. I mean, you would think that Ford would kind of want to like jump on that, and they'd kind of like want to meet the competition, and they would say like, hey, Tesla has the capability of charging at 250 kilowatts, so does ours. But that is not the case. Why? I don't know. Okay, but that is a key factor when considering these numbers I'm about to throw out at you. Also, I'm not a scientist or like a mathematician, so feel free to comment below if you have something to add. Okay, so let's talk about charging just at a level 3 DC fast charger, where we would typically charge like the Mach-E. Okay, so if we were gonna go from 0 to 80%, you guys, in the Mach-E, that would take roughly 47 minutes. Okay, so that 47 minutes, and we just have the standard Mach-E range of 230. It's not the extended range, just the standard. That would get us 184 miles. Now, if we did have the extended range, that would get us a range of 244 miles. If you were considering the extended range, you're welcome for that information. Okay, now let's take that and let's compare that with the Tesla Model 3. It's a long range. How long would it take to go from 0 to 80%? About 30 minutes. You guys, okay, 30 minutes, that is already saving like almost a quarter of an hour of time. Okay, but that 0 to 80%, that's also gonna get us more miles, because in that 30 minutes of charging, that means we would get 248 miles of range. You guys, that's crazy. Okay, so based off like same level 3 charging, that means we're gonna save time and get in more miles. And you might be saying like, well, it's only saving you like 15 minutes. Okay, but if you have to stop like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times to charge, that could save you like an hour's worth of time. That can be the difference of like you getting to your destination in 8 hours versus you getting to your destination in 9 hours. As much as I love to drive people, when I'm on a road trip with my toddler, I just want to get there. I don't want to linger in the car any more than I have to. You feel me? So yeah, so basically by bringing the Tesla, we're getting in more miles and we're charging in a shorter amount of time. That alone is another huge factor. Okay, but also we do need to talk about like the third-party infrastructure itself. So basically, you would think with the Mach-E, like there are chargers pretty much everywhere. I mean, you guys saw it on the PlugShare app. So you would think like, well, surely the Mach-E, that's like a point in its favor. So let's camp out on this also for a hot second, you guys, because you think like DC fast chargers, Tesla superchargers, there are way more DC fast chargers than there are Tesla superchargers in America. Like it's just a statistic. I think, I'm not like a mathematician, but I think off the top of my head, like DC fast chargers outweigh Tesla superchargers by like 3 to 1. Not outweigh, they outnumber them. Okay, so they outnumber them like 3 to 1. So you kind of think like, oh, of course you'd want to bring the Mach-E, there's more like options for charging. Au contraire, my friend, this is where my PO comes into play. My PO being my personal opinion. Okay, and don't let my PO get you PO'd. Does that make sense? Okay, because you might think something totally different, but in my personal experience, I have found that the charging infrastructure is not all that it is cracked up to seem. Now, even though statistically there are more of those DC fast chargers out there, I have found that even just on little road trips, the reliability is not there yet. Okay, and as a mom, as a woman, if I'm traveling alone, if I'm traveling with my family, it is not worth the time for me to like go to a charging station in an unfamiliar area and risk it not being available or not working, because that has happened several times to us. I think maybe you might have seen it in some of our past videos. We went on just a little road trip. We got to the EA station and it wasn't working. And you might be figuring, well, Shan, if the stall isn't working, kind of like at a gas station, if the stall says see cashier, who's really going to see the cashier? You just reverse and you go to the other stall. Okay, but no, we've had multiple occasions where not just the stall is out, but the whole location is down. And you guys, that is scary for me. I do not want to be driving to Rhode Island with my toddler and risk having that happen. That is just not worth it. That's like giving me anxiety just to think about right now. So I just don't have the confidence in it right now. Now, one day will I have more confidence to take my Mach-E on like a really long road trip? Hopefully, yes. Hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully, like all of these chargers will just continue to get better and better, and they'll be as reliable as my experience with Tesla superchargers. And we've owned our Tesla Model 3 for over 2 years, and we've owned the Mach-E for about 6 months. And you guys, we've had nearly about half the times we've charged it like third-party chargers with the Mach-E, we've had an issue. With our Tesla, in the over 2 years we've owned it, we've never had one issue at a supercharger. Not one. We've driven the Tesla across the country and have never had an issue. We've never had like our confidence shaken in a supercharger. We've never gotten to one and it's just been down or not working. They've always worked. So that alone is a huge factor, and maybe that's not a big deal to you. Maybe you fly by the seat of your pants. But for me, that just is not gonna float this boat. Okay, so those are the reasons. That is why we are taking the Tesla. I hope that makes sense to you. Would I love to go in the Mach-E? Yes, of course. I mean, that just makes a whole lot of sense in like other ways that I listed earlier in this video. But I think just for right now, for like safety reasons, for confidence reasons, I mean, really just to save time, because time, people, time is the most finite resource we have. So thank you for spending your time with me. We don't want to waste time. We just want to get there. And once we're there, we want to be able to enjoy ourselves. Okay, so those are the reasons we are taking the Tesla Model 3. Okay, drop me a comment below. Would you do the same thing? Yes or no? I would love to hear why. Also, don't forget, if you've watched this video up until now and you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel to grow so I can make more videos for you. Well, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.